Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today we're discussing a model launched in 2005 that also served as a launch platform for the IWC pocket watch caliber 98290. So this is the IWC Portuguese Handwind F.A. Jones. Limited edition of 3,000 pieces in steel. This is the 5442-03. F.A. Jones of Boston, the American-born founder of IWC Schaffhausen. Back in 1868, he brought his production techniques from the New World back to the Old to produce high-grade watches. He was spurned in the French-speaking watch regions in the west of the country. He went to the Northeast and found a ready and talented workforce in Schaffhausen, and the rest is history. This watch that you see right here has two different design briefs. First, honor the pocket watch era of IWC watchmaking under F.A. Jones. Second, put it in a Portugueser format. So this is a watch that encompasses elements of both. Like a Portugueser should be, it's big. 43 millimeters in diameter in stainless steel. This 3,000-piece limited edition is thin, however, at 11.1 millimeters, and 51 millimeters lug-to-lug with a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and I'm going to opine that you need a wrist of my size or larger to wear this well. 51 millimeters lug-to-lug is not huge for a 43 millimeter round watch, but if you look at the top, and this is the most illustrative angle, you can see how those lugs are out to the edge of my wrist. So I'm going to say 16 centimeters circumference or larger. I would have no trouble wearing this, and big is the style with a Portugueser. I think you should just avoid lugs that overhang your wrist by an obvious and large margin. That said, it is quite thin, and it will fit underneath the dress cuff, important since the Portugueser is at heart a dress watch. Strap is high grade, large rectangular scale alligator leather with big symmetrical scales, a very expensive cut, black semi-gloss. You could see that there is a little bit of bolstering to add thickness, and then the edge does feature a sheer cut side, so showing the layers of leather. On the bottom you can see calf skin, no crimping, no gouging, a brand new IWC factory strap, a lovely little vintage inspired pin buckle, suitable for the purpose of this model. Individual numbering, something that would later go away at IWC, where they would more often than not just write 1 of 3,000, which prevents them from doing any individual work on each case. Well, this is 1,986 out of 3,000, and I'm happy to say individually numbered, giving the watch a little bit of soul. The Portugueser was created in 1939, the original reference 325, as an answer to the call by IWC's Portuguese importers who wanted a wristwatch as accurate as a pocket watch. The only way to do that at the time, due to the accuracy of pocket watch movements, was to put a pocket watch movement in a wristwatch. So the Portugueser was different from previous pocket watch conversions that were often a pocket watch with lugs welded on. The Portugueser was born as a wristwatch with a 1930s form follows function ethic of simple Arabic numerals, 3 hands, integrated lugs, but it did have that pocket watch movement inside, and pocket watches were a lot more accurate than wristwatches in the day. The result was that the original watch was huge by the standards of the time for a wristwatch, built big from the inside out for a purpose, chronometry, and this watch has that. So you could see the design of the Portugueser, but you can also see some of the pocket watch elements that refer to F.A. Jones and the IWC watchmaking of his time. You have the onion-style crown. You have Arabic numerals, but they're not of a font that would have been common in the 1930s. This is more of a pocket watch, late 19th century font, modified Breguet hands. We have the F.A. Jones signature on the dial, and we have a 12-step hand lacquering, including white and clear coats, that emulates the enamel dials of the F.A. Jones pocket watch era. So again, it is a Portugueser, but it's almost a Portugueser that's got 1 foot in the world of the pocket watch and 1 foot in the world of the wristwatch. And that's before we even get to the movement. The original Portugueser used an IWC pocket watch movement. This is the successor to the legendary 98 series of IWC pocket watch movements. It is the 98290. So while it was designed with wristwatches in mind, it was designed like a pocket watch movement for use in wristwatches the size of pocket watches, which is why you have a very straightforward arrangement of engineered components, starting with the crown. Then there's the crown wheel. There's a lovely little click, and you can see how that extensible click works. A nod to the pocket watch era. That's how it would have been on the IWC pocket watches. Barrel, center wheel, third wheel, fourth wheel, escape wheel, a huge balance, beating weight 18,000 vibrations per hour. Note that the balance diameter is almost the radius of the movement. We have this F.A. Jones designed extreme fine adjustment mechanism. He reasoned accurately that if you had an elongated index, it would be easier to make fine adjustments. So this is known as the Jones Arrow Index. There's also a sort of damascening or decoration on the bridges, similar to the American-inspired finishing that F.A. Jones would have brought to Schaffhausen back in the late 1860s. There's engine turning on the base plate. You could see beveling on the edge of the bridges. The screw heads here are all black polished. And you could see that there's satination across the bridges because Côte de Genève would not have been used in Schaffhausen at that time in history. Now, technically speaking, manual wind, 46-hour power reserve, 18 joules, 5-position adjustment, which is the chronometer standard. Look carefully, and you can see the world's largest hacking lever in action. It's easy to see. It's right underneath my thumb. You can see it contacting the balance rim and then moving away. So this watch does have hacking seconds, something you would not have found on a pocket watch. You can also see that the balance is fairly modern. Though it is still a screwed balance, it does have variable inertia blocks inside, which can be used for fine adjustment and changing the polar moment. So a couple of different ways to adjust this movement built right in. And again, beating away at a slow, lazy 18,000 vibrations per hour with a pocket watch like hand-formed Breguet overcoil hairspring. So the watch will keep very regular time in every position. Solarization on the crown wheel core, solarization on the ratchet wheel, and you can see all those polished screw heads. Just a beautiful looking movement. And again, a pocket watch style movement, 37.8 millimeters in diameter. This movement is by itself bigger than a standard Rolex Day-Date or Datejust. That's how big it is. And then the watch, 30 meters water resistant. So dress watch, splash only. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.